The phone rings at a completely ordinary moment. You're in the middle of your day, working, driving, cooking, scrolling. An unfamiliar number appears on the screen. You hesitate for half a second. Then you answer. There's nothing strange on the other end of the line. The voice sounds calm, polite, professional. No pressure, no urgency. Just a simple opening question. Something routine, something harmless. And you respond the same way most people do, automatically, out of habit. This isn't carelessness, it's efficiency. It's how responsible people handle small interruptions without letting them disrupt their day. What makes this moment interesting isn't the call itself, it's how familiar it feels. Because the way we answer the phone today is built on trust, speed, and routine. We assume that if something is truly important, it will be clear, and if it isn't, we can always hang up. That assumption is exactly why this habit goes unquestioned. The issue isn't that people are doing something wrong, it's that something very normal is being used in ways most people never stop to consider. So the real question isn't whether answering unknown calls is dangerous, it's why such a simple everyday behavior can quietly create risk, even for people who are careful, organized, and attentive. Understanding that difference is where protection actually begins.
To understand why scammers rely on this behavior, it's important to look beyond the call itself. The key isn't what is said, it's what is observed. Contrary to popular belief, the risk does not come from a single word or a specific phrase. Saying yes on the phone does not authorize contracts, approve transactions, or release money by itself. That idea has been exaggerated and misunderstood over time. The real issue is much more subtle. When a call begins, what's being collected isn't permission, it's information. Tone of voice, response speed, willingness to engage, level of attention. These details help create a behavioral profile in real time. Voice recordings by themselves are not dangerous, but when they are taken out of context and combined with other data, they become something else. Names, public records, previous interactions. Together, these pieces are often used in social engineering schemes. This is where myth and reality need to be separated. The danger is not capturing a word. The danger is predictable behavior. Scammers don't rely on technology alone. They rely on patterns. People who answer quickly, people who respond politely, people who don't want to seem rude. In ironic ways, these are often careful, responsible individuals. From the outside, the call appears harmless. Internally, it serves as a test, a way to measure how engaged, how distracted, or how receptive someone might be. In many cases, nothing happens at all. The interaction ends and is quickly forgotten. But sometimes that brief exchange becomes a reference point, a foundation for future contact, approached in a more convincing and personalized way. This is why the risk doesn't feel obvious. There's no warning sign, no clear boundary crossed. The danger begins quietly, long before anyone asks for anything. Understanding this process replaces fear with clarity, and clarity is what actually reduces exposure.
What makes these situations effective isn't deception in the traditional sense. It's timing and context. The risk doesn't begin when someone asks for personal information. It doesn't begin with a suspicious request. It begins much earlier, in the way the conversation is shaped. Small, polite responses create momentum. They signal availability. They indicate attention. And when someone is multitasking, tired, or simply trying to be efficient, those signals become stronger. This is why urgency doesn't always sound urgent. Often it sounds reasonable, a simple follow-up, a clarification, a confirmation. nothing that triggers alarm. Many people believe they would immediately recognize a scam if something felt wrong, but in reality, these interactions are designed to feel familiar. They mirror legitimate calls from banks, service providers, and institutions people already trust. Another important factor is social pressure. Most people don't want to interrupt, hang up abruptly, or challenge a caller that sounds professional. This tendency toward politeness is not a weakness, it's a social norm. And social norms are predictable. That predictability is where the risk starts to form. Once a conversation flows smoothly, it becomes easier to guide. The caller learns how quickly you respond, how attentive you are, how willing you are to continue. Even without asking direct questions, the approach can be adjusted in real time. What makes this especially effective is that nothing obvious is happening. There is no single moment where someone suddenly falls for something. Instead, exposure increases gradually, almost invisibly. This is why careful people are often surprised afterwards. They didn't ignore red flags. There were none. The interaction never felt dangerous because it wasn't designed to feel that way. Recognizing where the risk truly begins changes how we think about these calls. It shifts the focus away from fear and towards awareness. And awareness, unlike anxiety, allows people to stay in control.
After understanding where the risk truly begins, the most important question becomes practical. How do you protect yourself without turning every phone call into a source of tension? The answer is simpler than most people expect. Effective security doesn't come from fear or constant suspicion. It comes from small, consistent habits that give you control. The first habit is slowing down. When an unknown number calls, there is no obligation to answer immediately, and no need to keep the conversation moving. A brief pause before responding changes the balance. Speed favors manipulation. Calm favors clarity. Another essential habit is avoiding automatic confirmations. Instead of responding reflexively, neutral responses put you back in control. Asking who is calling or stating that you prefer to return the call later is not distrust, it's organization. It's also important to understand how legitimate institutions operate. Banks, insurance companies, and government agencies do not resolve sensitive matters through unexpected phone calls. Any real issue can always be confirmed through official channels, on your own terms. This approach doesn't require technical expertise. It doesn't mean avoiding communication, and it doesn't mean assuming bad intentions. It simply means choosing when and how you engage. Today, information is one of the most valuable assets anyone has. Learning how to manage it, especially in everyday situations that seem harmless, dramatically reduces exposure to invisible risks. If this video helped you see common phone calls from a different perspective, continuing to learn makes a real difference. Subscribe to the channel for clear, practical content about digital security, finance, and protecting your assets in an increasingly connected world. Share this video with someone in your family. Often, awareness shared at the right moment prevents serious problems later. And if you want to explore this topic further, you'll find recommended materials in the description, always from official and reliable sources. Being informed doesn't mean living in fear. It means staying in control.